Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to episode 9 of Morning Chai and Ikigai. This is your podcast host Priyanka. Let me begin by wishing you all a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Living in Goa, I can speak on behalf of all my fellow Goans when I say that for us, Ganesh Chaturthi is one of the biggest celebrations of the year, probably even bigger than Diwali. This year, however, the pandemic has dampened the festive vibe a little, so everything is a little downplayed. Nevertheless, even Ganpati Bappa would tell you that health takes precedence over religious sentiment. Sar salamat to pagli hazar. Likewise, health salamat to celebration hazar. And we Goans are known for our celebration. So, in today's episode, I will take you on a journey of how we usually celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi in Goa. Some age-old festival-related traditions, their cultural significance, and the story behind them. Around 15 to 20 days prior to Ganesh Chaturthi, the preparations begin. So you'll find people getting busy with preparing the home decors, making all arrangements for the upcoming festival. And the festive vibe is so infectious, especially with the kids in the household all excited and half covered in glue and craft paper, that everybody would want to be a part of it. I remember as a kid, I used to go every Ganesh Chaturthi to my grandmother's house. And my cousins and I wanted to participate in the smallest of activities. We wanted to paint the makar, we wanted to do the craft work, we wanted to help and contribute in every single thing. No matter how the end result would be, we wanted to be part of the preparations, part of the celebration. And that is what Ganesh Chaturthi is all about. These are fun times when cousins, when aunts, when uncles get together and they forget all their differences and they join in the enthusiasm. Nowadays, however, these home decors they are readily available in the market, and we are too busy. We do not have the time to invest in these do-it-yourself experiments. But trust me, the feeling of satisfaction you get with a handmade decor is unbeatable. It's unparalleled. Apart from the Makar, a rich tradition which you will see being followed for Ganesh Chaturthi in Goa in most households is the Goan Matori. Now, for the uninitiated, the Goan Matori is all about decorating the wooden canopy above the idol with fruits and vegetables of the season. Now, what is the significance behind this? Um, Most Goans will know that back in the day, everything that was cooked, that was eaten, that was offered to Lord Ganesh during Chaturthi was necessarily homegrown or local. So, this tradition of tying the matori was supposed to be representative of our ethnobotanical heritage. It was done to raise awareness of the local produce found in Goa. And then the tradition continued down the ages. It passed on from one generation to another. So now, what fruits are included in the matori? Now, a wide variety of fruits, ranging from those with medicinal value, with aesthetic value, with cultural, economical properties. They all will be tied there. Now, some of the best varieties, some of the best matoris you see in villages of Goa will have a rich variety of seasonal fruits and vegetables. And other than that, you will have some indigenous variety that will only be found in Goa, like Kandla or Karmala. But in all Goan matoris, coconuts and areca nuts are a must. Now, other than that, there will be poisonous varieties and wild varieties also included in the matori. Now, why is this? Now, earlier, what used to happen was the edible wild plants or the edible wild fruits that were hung in the matori, they provided food for the villagers. Now, the medicinal wild plants they were used by the villagers to make certain home remedies, and poisonous or the poisonous and the wild plants which were hung in the maturi. They also help put things in perspective by warning the villagers to stay away from specific kinds of species of plants. Now, earlier the maturi was restricted to only those fruits and vegetables that could be cultivated, that were homegrown. So the point was, and to some extent still is, that the maturi should be used to share knowledge and love about Goa's rich heritage, about its biodiversity. And in order to promote this tradition, in order to encourage our future generations to carry this tradition forward, there are villages in Goa that conduct local competitions and give out awards for the best maturi. Now, with the maturi tied up and the decor in place, everybody is looking forward to the three most important days of the festival. Now, the first day is called as Thai in Goa, and it is dedicated to Ganeshji's mother, who is Gauri or Parvati. Now, on Thai, the coconut is used to symbolize Mahadev, and a bundle of wild leaves and flowers represents Gauri. So it is said that goddess Parvati had pregnancy cravings during this time, and in order to satiate these cravings, an offering of patorio is made to the goddess. So for the uninitiated, patorio is a Goan delicacy that is made by spreading out rice flour paste inside turmeric leaves, and then it is stuffed with a mixture of grated coconut and jaggery and dried fruits, and then these are steamed. So the third patori is offered to goddess Parvati, and this patori is necessarily without salt and without the stuffing. Also, another vegetable that is definitely made on Thai is the paats palyachi bhaji. Now, this paats palyachi bhaji is made by simply boiling five vegetables. That is, one is the tamdi bhaji, that is also known as red amaranth. Then there is the valachi bhaji, that is Malabar spinach, if I am not wrong. Then there is a moringa, that is drumsticks. Then hog plums and colocasia, that is aruchi bhaji. Now, also along with the patorio, there can be preparations or other sweet preparations like kheer made from sweetened rice and other things according to the preference. Now, after the Gauri Puja is done, that is when the real excitement begins, because then it is time to get Ganeshji home. Now, this can be either done in the next day, the next morning, or on the previous night. When Ganeshi is brought the previous evening or the previous night, that time the idol is brought veiled when entering the house, and it is only unveiled before the puja commences on the next day. Another popular sweet that you will find in almost every Hindu Goan household during Ganesh Chaturthi is the nevri. Now, the nevri or the nevrios, they are crescent shaped sweets that are fried, and they have an outer maida covering and an inner stuffing. Now, the inner stuffing is made essentially from dry grated coconut and sugar. Now, of course, there are variations. We have the pitachi nevri. Now, the pitachi nevri includes wheat flour in its stuffing. Now, other than the nevri, there is the mandgane. Now, the mandgane is a Goan delicacy. It's a chana dal kheer, which is made with jaggery, and sometimes it is made with sago as well. Needless to say, there is a modak, which is one of the most favorite sweets during Ganesh Chaturthi. Now, modaks are of two types. One is the fried variety, and one is the steamed variety. Now, the fried variety is an absolute hit in Goa because it is absolutely lip smacking, and I can't help but say absolute, but it's a personal favorite as well. The ukricha modak or the steamed variety is also equally delicious, and some may say it is a little healthier as well. Now, another popular dish which finds its way in the lunch menu during Ganesh Chaturthi is the khatkate. Now, khatkate is a mixed vegetable stew, which is prepared from a wide variety of vegetables. Now, the vegetables like raw banana, raw papaya. There's cucumber in it. There is ridge gourd in it. There is breadfruit in it. So you name it, and it is there in that khatkate. So it's all these vegetables. They are simmered in coconut and a tur dal gravy, and this constitutes khatkate. So other items will include चण्याचे तोणाक, अळसाण्याचे तोणाक. Then there is आंबाड्याची उड्डमेथी. Now आंबाड्याची उड्डमेथी is a dish which is made from hog plums, and is absolutely delicious. Then there is घोसाळ्याची bhaji, which will find a way in the cuisine. And then we also have a special item called kakdi salad. Now, kakdi salad is a salad which is made from finely chopped cucumber. So, kakdi is cucumber. The salad is essentially finely chopped cucumber with, of course, other ingredients like a tamarind paste, like green chilies, and of course coconut. And there is groundnuts too in it. So all these items are specially prepared on Ganesh Chaturthi day. Coming to yet another of my favorite Ganpati related topics, let me talk a little about Modaks, which are as much as Ganpati Bappa's favorite sweets as they are mine. Well, on the first day of Ganesh Chaturthi, Lord Ganesh is offered modak as prasad. A minimum of 5 modaks and 1 karanji are offered as prasad. Now, of course, in joint families, this number may go up to 21 modaks or 101 modaks, accompanied with a few karanjis. Now, modaks are supposed to be Ganpati ji's favorite food. Apart from coconut laddus, puran puri, paisam, motichur laddus, srikhand, those are also his favorite foods. And those also can be offered as bhog to Ganpati ji. So we can say he's a god with a sweet tooth. Makes him feel almost human, no? Maybe that's why we love him so much. But coming back to the point, Modak remains his favorite. At this point, let me regale you with two very popular stories that my grandmother regaled me with during my childhood. And these stories are telling of the fact that Ganesh ji loved Modak. They're telling of Ganesh ji's love for Modaks. So once Lord Shiva, Goddess Parvati, and Ganpati visited Anusuya. Now, Anusuya was the wife of a sage named Atri. And when it was time to serve them food, Anusuya insisted that she would serve Lord Shiva only after Bal Ganesh's hunger was satiated. Now, Lord Shiva was hungry, but he patiently waited for Ganpati to finish eating. But to everybody's surprise, Lord Ganesh continued eating. He went on eating, dish after dish. Anusuya went on serving him. He went on eating. He ate everything that was served. But his hunger was still not satiated. So Anusuya realized that if this continued, there would be no food left for Lord Shiva to eat. And it was then that she served Ganpati one single modak. On eating the modak, Ganpati let out a loud burp, suggesting that he was full. And much to everybody's surprise, Lord Shiva, after Ganesh ji burped, Lord Shiva immediately burped 21 times. So Goddess Parvati, who was watching this, was pleased to know that her son's hunger was satiated. And she was also curious to know what it was that instantly filled Bal Ganesh's stomach. And when she realized it was the modak, she expressed her wish that all devotees of Ganpati should offer him modaks. And that continued. That tradition is on till this day. So in yet another story, Ganpati and his sibling Kartikeya, they were arguing because they did not want to share a modak that their mother, goddess Parvati, had given them. So Parvati thought of a idea. She asked them to take 3 rounds of the world, and whoever returned first would get the modak, she said. Now Kartikeya immediately set off on his peacock to travel around the world. But Ganpati, he quietly, with folded palms, offered his respects to his parents and circled thrice around them. And this suggested that they were his world. No points in guessing who got the modak. Another tradition that is noteworthy during the festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is the pujathari. Now, the pujathari always has red flowers. There is durva grass blades. There is modak, and there is agarbatti or incense sticks. Now, the red hibiscus is considered to be Ganpati ji's favorite flower, and it is always there in the puja thari. It signifies destruction of enemies, and it also signifies prosperity. The blades of durva grass, they are offered to Ganpati ji, and they have a story behind it. Now, a demon called, the story goes like this, a demon called Analasur, he was causing lots of tension in the heavens. And he was so powerful that his eyes had the power to emit fire that destroyed everything that came in the way. So all the gods, they called upon Ganpati ji and asked him for help. So in the battle when Analasur was throwing fireballs, Ganesh ji, it took the form of Virat Roop and swallowed the demon whole. And this created extreme heat and restlessness in Ganesh ji's belly. Now all the gods, they offered they came to help out now, but nothing could bring down that amount of heat. So finally, some sages thought of an idea, and they came up with 21 durva blades, and they placed them on Lord Ganesha's head. And as soon as they did that, the heat miraculously evaporated. So since then, 21 durva blades find their way on the puja thari and are offered to Lord Ganesh during Ganesh Chaturthi. Now, you must have heard the elderly speaking about not looking at the moon on the first day of Ganesh Chaturthi. This notion has an interesting story behind it. It is said that the moon god was an extremely handsome god, and he was very proud of his looks. So he tried to make fun of Lord Ganesha once, and he tried to mock him by making some sarcastic remarks about his elephant head, about his big belly, and this infuriated Ganpati ji, and he was so angry that he decided to punish the moon god by giving him a curse. He wanted to make him realize his mistake. And so Lord Ganesha cursed the moon god by saying that no one will worship the moon, and whoever looks at the moon would face some kind of false allegation, even though he was innocent. So hearing this, the moon god he immediately realized his mistake, and he was shattered, and he pled for forgiveness. So he started worshipping Lord Ganesh in order to appease him once more. And then Lord Ganesh decided to relieve the moon god from the curse, but there was a clause. So he said that human beings can look at the moon on any day except the day of Bhadrapad Chaturthi, that is the first day. So he said that anyone who sees the moon on Bhadrapad Chaturthi will have to face false allegation and the consequences. So since that day, Bhadrapad Chaturthi was also known as Ganesh Chaturthi, and people tried their best not to look at the moon. But sometimes it is the case of the forbidden fruit, so you inadvertently end up taking a quick peek at the moon and then immediately regret what you've done. So there is a remedy for that also. So anyone who looks at the moon on Bhadrapad Chaturthi by mistake can worship Lord Ganesh and follow the rituals and listen to the arti and recite the story of Ganesh Chaturthi, and they will be relieved from the curse. So this story has everything. It has a superstition, it has a notion, it has a remedy as well. And that is exactly how Ganpati ji is. He is not just intelligent and cool, but he is also forgiving, and he is the Sukha Karta, the Dukha Harta. He is the Vigna Vinashak, the remover of all obstacles. Now, another thing that is followed in Goa, another tradition, another custom, another habit, is that uh, every person on the auspicious occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi, he goes out to see five Ganpatis. So in the evening after Aartis, he goes out to see five Ganpatis. Now these can include Sarvajanik Ganpatis or Ganpatis in their friend's place. Now, this tradition was started initially with the whole intent of bringing people closer. So, on the pretext of offering prayers to five Ganpatis in five different places, you would visit your friends, your relatives, people you know, you would meet and greet with them. And in a way, it kind of increased the bond, the friendship. Um, Coming to the most heartbreaking moment of the entire festival, the Visarjan. So, Visarjan is when Ganpati returns back to his home, to his parents' home, and this Visarjan or ideal immersion is done after 1.5 days or 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, or even after 21 days. Um, Now, in my grandmother's house, we used to have this tradition of showing Ganpati around every room of the house just before Visarjan. So it was a way of getting the rooms, every corner of the house blessed by Ganpati ji. So different households have different traditions that they follow. But truly, the saddest moment of the festival is when Ganpati ji has to leave, and it's time for Visarjan. I recall my cousins as kids being heartbroken and almost bursting into tears at the time of Visarjan. So for them, it was not just a return of Ganpati ji back to Kailas to join his parents, but it was more of an end to the festivities that the festival brought along. So it is more of having to endure a long wait of 1 year before they could meet with their cousins and have fun in the same way again. It was more of waiting to see Ganpati and enjoying the festival with everybody they loved and cared for. So and that is exactly the vibe that Ganesh Chaturthi brings. It's a vibe that infuses joy and happiness in everyone that is a part of it. Having said that, before the concept of eco-friendly Ganpati came into existence, Goa would use materials like clay and mud to make their Ganesh idols. So for a very long time, we used materials that were environmental friendly, and then came along plaster of Paris. So then we shifted to plaster of Paris, which started polluting our water bodies, and it resulted in environmental toxicity. And then again, we realized how detrimental this is to the environment, and good sense prevailed. And now we are back to using environmental friendly material to make Ganpati. So I recently read Ganesh idols being made of chocolate and even e-waste for that matter. So people are using all, as people are getting aware, they are using all sorts of biodegradable material in order to make sure that they are not harming the environment in the process. And once Visarjan is done with, then the devotees start returning to their respective homes with a heavy heart. Then the fruits of the matori that we spoke of earlier are distributed amongst the family members as prasad. Now, in my grandmother's home, we would follow this amusing tradition of Matori fruits distribution. So the elders in the family would instruct all the kids in the family to reach out for their favorite fruit from the Matori. And inadvertently, our favorite fruit would be lying on the topmost string of the Matori. So this would be followed by a lot of jumping up and down in order to reach the fruit and competing with cousins and having a competition of sorts. Maybe this was a way the elders had thought of to dissipate the sadness of the moment that Visarjan had brought along for the kids. And maybe this did work after all, because in all the strategizing and in all the planning of how to pick our favorite fruits, we forgot the heaviness of the moments. We It was almost like a fun activity all over again. Now, in growing up, we learned different things. We learned that devotion does not always translate to idol worship, or that exhibitionism is not always needed to express our feelings towards God. We learn that a silent prayer offered from the heart is enough to attain the peace of mind that we were looking for. We learn that it is not the visarjan that is the saddest moment of the festival, but instead it is the burning of the firecrackers that is the saddest moment, because of all the grief it can bring to people in a fragile mood, to the environment, to street dogs. And last but not the least, we learned to safeguard our memories, to respect our present, to treasure it. I think 2020 put in perspective many things that we were taking for granted. So, this Ganesh Chaturthi, maybe we should spend some time in quiet reflection of the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. On that note, this is your podcast host Priyanka signing out. Bye bye. Morning Chai and Ikigai is a biweekly podcast. That means fresh episodes will be uploaded every Thursday and Sunday. If you want to connect with me outside the pod, I am there on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Dr. Priyanka Naik, that is Dr. Priyanka Naik. I'm also there on Facebook, and my YouTube channel is Dr. Priyanka Naik again. So do subscribe, leave me a comment, or rate and review my podcast. I also blog at drpriyankanaik.com.